I was pretty sure I knew the difference between high fantasy and low fantasy, but then I had to explain the difference and realized I actually knew very little. Sure, I could point out that Good Omens by Neil Gaiman is low fantasy, and obviously Lord of the Rings is... Oh, come on! Google, you're drunk. Go home. Anyway, at that point I knew that I had to make this video because not knowing this obscure piece of information was simply unacceptable. If you feel the same, this video is for you. Here's a pretty intro. What's up, Bottleflumps? My name is Aviad and I am very confused. Wait, that can't be in the script. Originally, I thought the answer lied in the accessibility of magic and how prevalent it is in the setting, with low fantasy having little magic and high fantasy having a lot of it. But after searching some more on the interwebs, I ran into the same definition on several websites. Low fantasy, or intrusion fantasy, is a subgenre of fantasy in which magical events intrude on an otherwise normal world. The term thus contrasts with high fantasy stories, which take place in fictional worlds that have their own set of rules and physical laws. So Harry Potter, American Gods, and most Marvel movies fall into low fantasy, while stories like Lord of the Rings or Game of Thrones are considered high fantasy. However, that definition is a bit unsatisfying to me. Game of Thrones happens in a fictional world, yet it has very little magic at first. Most of the conflict stems from non-magical problems, and none of the main characters has access to any real power. This changes as the series progresses, but if we focus on the first couple of books or seasons, it may as well have been an alternative history with big woofy boys. It's just odd to me that a low fantasy setting has more magic than a high fantasy one. So how do we capture that difference? The answer comes in a different set of definitions, because we nerds love tagging things, and those are high magic and low magic. Surely the internet can help me figure out the definition for those, right?
1 hour later.
Okay, it seems a lot of people agree on elements of low and high magic settings, but nobody has a clear definition. So I came up with my own. In low magic settings, magic is rare, mysterious, and subtle. People who claim to have magic are often charlatans, and even the rare few who possess it find it difficult to understand and control. Conflicts in the world rarely revolve around magic, as most people have never witnessed anything magical in their life. In fact, it's even possible that some of them witnessed magic but never realized it because it's so low-key. In a low magic setting, it is possible to deny the existence of magic and wave it off as mere superstition. On the other hand, in a high magic setting, magic is common, explored, and flashy. Magic can be controlled and shaped to produce the same effects over and over, maybe even be taught in schools. High magic settings tend to have very obvious magical effects like shooting lightning or fire from one's arms. Conflicts in the world often revolve around magic, or at the very least, powered by it. These definitions are nice, but they don't really create a full distinction. Many fantasy settings fall between the two, like Star Wars for example, where magic is rare and mysterious but quite flashy. So is Star Wars high magic or low magic? I don't know. We could try and remove the flashiness requirement and then Star Wars would be considered a low magic setting, but then we'd have other examples that kinda contradict those definitions. We could think of a world where magic is very common, it's just everywhere but nobody can control it and understand it. Is that considered a high magic or low magic setting? Or maybe the other way around, maybe everyone understands how magic should function, but almost nobody can control it. Maybe it's been generations since an actual wizard arrived and we can have an entire plot about that. Honestly, I'm fine with having a scale. I feel like this thought experiment ran its course, and now I can at least tell that Harry Potter is low fantasy with high magic, while Game of Thrones is high fantasy with low magic. I would like to give a huge shout out to my patrons. Thank you so much for your continued support. This past year was quite crazy and prolific, with 22 videos and 10 D&D 5e supplements. Your support allowed me to spend more time doing what I love, and I am very thankful for that. Until next time, friends, remember that you are awesome, keep being awesome, and I'll see you beyond the screen.